Hey everybody, my name is Nick. No, this is not a poorly bleached, overgrown buzz cut. What? This is my 11 cosplay. Stranger Things, without a doubt, is one of the most popular TV shows to come out within the past 25 years. This show started when I was 11 years old. I'm 21 now, so it's been a pretty long time. Every single new season that would come out, I was there getting ready to binge all 8 hours of TV within 20 minutes of it being released. I remember specifically for season 3, I didn't even get up to take a bathroom break. So safe to say there was a smelly wet spot on the couch for the next 3 days. In season 2, when the 4 main boys dressed up as Ghostbusters, I then went as a Ghostbuster that same year for Halloween. When I got a Stranger Things hoodie from Target, yes, of course I would wear it every single day to school because I wanted people to know that although the hoodie smells bad, at least it was Stranger Things and they associate Stranger Things with me. Smelly. And I'm so glad I'm not the only weirdo who cares so much about this show. I'm glad to see other people on TikTok expressing their love for it. Stranger Things to me is the first show that Gen Z truly got to call their own. Sure, it takes place 20 years before most of us were even a tickle in our dad's ball sack. Sure, it has one episode that the entire fan base just collectively agrees to forget about. And sure, each season takes a ludicrously long amount of time to release where the kids who were once playing 13-year-olds are now playing 14-year-olds despite being 20. But who cares? Because it's Stranger Things and it's awesome, which is exactly what makes a lot of the entire final season so disappointing. After nearly 10 years of build-up, you know, seeing each character grow through all the Demogorgons and terrible, god-awful Eddie Munson cosplays, the show finally ended after almost 10 years. And I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. If you can't already hear by my tone of voice, it was... Hey, that final fight of... Pee-wee. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't a huge fan of it. It was kind of stinky like poop. I don't think that Stranger Things was able to have that perfect landing that everybody loves, but I don't think it was a bad landing either. This is your fair warning of spoilers, obviously. Season 1 alone is genuinely one of the most entertaining pieces of TV ever. It's compelling, funny, mysterious, and at times even terrifying seeing how weird the Upside Down is. Season 2, although not exactly brand new, it was still enjoyable to watch all the characters, and some new ones. Season 3 introduced new villains, evil Russians that want to create a super weapon that they use for... Sure, man. Okay. Also, new characters. Season 4 went back to its roots and introduced a real terrifying villain instead of Russian people. They also expanded on the Upside Down and its powers, making it probably the scariest season we've seen since season 1. Season 5 takes all of this build-up and doesn't really do anything with it. One of the most obvious things is that the cast is so unbelievably bloated at this point on. Love Mr. Clark, love Murray. I thought Holly was a really good character too, but did they really need to be there? Like, we already have 9 other people. We have Lucas, Dustin, Mike, Will, Steve, Nancy, Jonathan, Joyce, Hop. Like, how many more people do we possibly need? And then that's not even including the villains like Vecna, the Mind Flayer. I guess the Mind Flayer doesn't really count as a character, but it's just, do you see what I mean? There's so much being added. Hey, Derek was a necessary addition. I will stand by that. My goat. One of my main problems with season 5 is it felt very anticlimactic. For example, at the end of season 4, it felt like they sort of wrote themselves into a corner and they didn't really know what to do. At the end of season 4, you see Vecna opens like the 4 cracks or whatever and creates like this giant anus in the middle of Hawkins, right? You see all the characters standing over a hill and it's sort of like panning over and you just see all the destruction that Vecna has caused, moving the Upside Down into Hawkins, creating this big portal opening gate, whatever. And you leave season 4 going, oh, so as soon as the season starts off, this is gonna be a big thing, right? No, because they immediately just do a silly little montage where Robin the entire time is basically going, hey, it's Rockin' Robin. So yeah, all those little portals, Might as well just ignore them. The military's in hockey. It's like, what the I get there was a time skip, but you're not gonna tell us anything about, like, hey, what was the government's reaction? What about all the catastrophes that we saw? What about what the government is doing about it? Why they're doing stuff about it? You know, it's so very much just rushed in that sense. And, you know, while on the topic of Robin, that's a character I really want to talk about. In the first 2 seasons she was in, season 3 and 4, I really liked her as a character. You know, she was funny, like a comic relief, but not like aware that she was a comic relief. She was just a fun character to be around. She seems like somebody I would like to hang out with in real life. Season 5, absolutely none of that, dude. Listen, it's very obvious in the show she has ADHD, right? And hey, man, hey, totally love that. You know, Robin, one to another. I get the ADHD thing, but it felt very natural in the first 2 seasons she was in. Season 5 is just so, like, they're intentionally trying to make her socially inept. There's this one scene where Will and Joyce are in the basement, and Robin is kind of just standing there like an NPC while they're having an intimate conversation. Will's probably crying about his goosebumps or something, and Robin's just kind of in the corner like, hi. But then she has this like, sorry, intimate family moment. My mother says I really need to work on this. It's like, what the like, you're actively making what felt like a real and genuine character into a cartoon. Like, it's just over exaggerated and pooey. And she's not really the only person they do this to. They kind of do something similar with almost, you know what? No, it's not any character in specific. It's like all of them. They all have this sort of cartoonish Disney Channel ass lines. Like when Dustin's getting bullied, you know, Mike Wheeler, his 6'5" ass struts over and starts talking about some, hey, Dustin, let's stop this ignoramus meathead from producing more of his heinous. It's like, what? Why? This Stranger Things used to be like witty and fun. This sucks. They do a thing where they also finish each other's sentences again, like a Disney movie. It kind of reminds me of like Marvel dialogue, which is in no way, shape, or form a compliment, Duffer Brothers. I feel I should make this very clear. Another thing they do in this season specifically is there's way too many group realizations. They've managed to find the tiniest little tiddlywink of a clue, and somehow that's the spiral that leads them to find out their big plan on how they're gonna defeat X. So it'll be they're sitting around and someone will be like, oh man, my stomach hurts. I kind of gotta take a shit, man. Yeah, that's okay. Go use that toilet. Water flows through the toilet, which goes to a different destination. Pipes are like tunnels. Hold on, guys. What if we made secret tunnel? Like, what? Now, I really want to focus on the ending here. They brought back a new character, Kali, Eleven's long-lost sister from that one season 2 episode that everyone does their absolute best to forget. Kali is so pointless in this show. I'm gonna be honest. They bring her back, and she's sort of, I guess, manipulating Eleven, but in the end, it turns out that she's not really manipulating Eleven because she heard Eleven and Hopper have this speech about heart to heart. So Eleven and Kali, whatever, her sister, were gonna sacrifice themselves, right? But then Hopper has this heart to heart with Eleven basically saying, oh, I can't lose you, blah, blah, blah. You deserve a good life. Which Kali, again, is just sort of sitting in the background listening, except having somehow less social awareness than Robin. Yeah, anyways, big emotional twist. Kali dies. I don't know. To me personally, this is a character from an episode that I skip every time I rewatch. After it was revealed in volume 1, I thought it was cool that they brought her back, but after that, once the season got going, she kind of really did nothing. She was just lurking in the background like a fly. Like, she just wouldn't go away, and sometimes she would perk up and say some bullshit like, Eleven, do not listen to Hop. He's manipulating you. It's like, who the are you've been here for like 5 minutes, dude. Who are you? Anyways, yeah, big surprise. Kali's the big emotional death this season. Boo-hoo, I guess. She was on screen maybe for 5 minutes in total. And the other was, oh, wait. There wasn't any other nobody dies. Nothing happens. This entire season, they were building up. The Duffer Brothers were building up. This is going to be a sad and depressing Christmas. Oh, man. You're going to be so emotional. Like, everyone's going to be so sad. Hey, well, last I checked, the final season aired. I'm feeling fine, man. Literally nothing happened. There were way too many fake out deaths. Like, Steve got a fake out death. 11 got 2 fake out deaths. I guess one of them was technically real. I'm going to talk about that in a bit. There was the Wheeler mom fake out. There was the Wheeler dad fake out. There was the Nancy and Jonathan fake out. A season before, there was the Max fake out. This show seems to have a problem with killing off characters. And listen, I love seeing characters, right? I don't like it when a really popular character dies. It's sad. It sucks. But when they've run their course, I feel like that's almost necessary to the show. I feel like that's something that should be done. Let's be so honest. Hopper didn't really have anything to do in season 4 and season 5. What huge thing would have changed if he really did die in season 3? I'm waiting. Yeah, dude, nothing. Max in season 4 served her purpose, and it seemed like for a while she did die until they do a quick fake out in the last 5 minutes of the episode and they go, actually, no, she's not. She's still alive. And eventually these fake outs, they happen so often that whenever there was a supposed character dead, I just couldn't find myself believing it. Even when they killed off 11, they still couldn't even kill her off because they left it ambiguous. So 11's big sacrifice is that she goes, these experiments will never stop so long as I'm here. So 11 sacrifices herself, and that's the end of her. Except no, it's actually not. And there's a theory that 11 is still out there living in some weird, like, Norwegian, Icelandic, Viking village in the middle of nowhere. Like, bro, they couldn't even commit to killing one character. This is your final season. There is nothing after this except for pointless spin-offs that nobody's gonna watch. But this is your final season with these characters. What do you possibly have to lose from killing off any of these characters? Oh, merchandise. You know what? Never mind. Think like a businessman. The only person from the main cast that dies is 11. And even then, it's still not 100% confirmed that she's really dead. She's secretly alive. I don't know. It gives me a headache. Also, I'm sorry. I really need to talk about the final fight. Vecna built up, the Mind Flayer built up, Demogorgons built up as this big, super angry, powerful villain that is going to be near impossible to fight. The Mind Flayer, when it's in its real, actual form instead of a black fart floating in the wind, is a genuinely scary character. It's like the size of fucking Manhattan. This thing is huge. One of its teeth alone, it's like as large as a twin bed. It is scary. And they're able to kill it in like 5 minutes? What the fuck? I'm not even exaggerating, by the way. Oh, wait, no. I'm sorry, guys. If you go on Netflix, you can actually see that the entire Stranger Things Season 5 final battle, the big thing the entire show has been building up to, is actually 6 minutes and 45 seconds. You know, taking away 15 seconds of the Netflix outro screen. That's it. Also, in the entire final fight, there were absolutely no Demogorgons, no Demo Dogs, no bats. You know, the same bats that mauled Eddie Munson alive. None of that is there. I don't know if they were out on a smoke break or if they were at their local Chipotle getting queso and chips. Like, where was any of them? No, it was just Vecna and the Mind Flayer. It was legitimately easier for them to decimate two of the most powerful beings in the universe than it is to defeat one Demogorgon. I'm being so serious. I really wish I was joking. I should mention the Upside Down isn't an alternate dimension. It's a wormhole, which I think is such a fun explanation. But then they have like the Abyss Dimension X, which is just Breaking Bad Mexico. The entire episode is like 2 hours and 10 minutes long. Hey, apparently this final season had a budget of like 500 million or something. Where the fuck did it go? What, did it go to paying Millie Bobby Brown for her $15 million salary? Let's be so honest. There is no way that all of these characters were going to survive the Mind Flayer after seeing how big the claws were coming down at them. I'd be surprised if any of them survive. Look at this. But no, all of them leave it out without a scratch. And that's kind of it. The military this whole season, every time they would come on, I would honestly just start scrolling on my phone to a certain extent. They just felt like a vermin that wouldn't go away. But then 18 months pass and everything's just back to normal. That's it. Yes, Nancy and Hopper have committed crimes, legitimate murder. by sliming out government officials. But 18 months later, like, they just get off scot-free. It's kind of just like, what, dude? That's it? And the epilogue is like an hour long, and everyone gets a happy ending, which is good. All the main teens get to graduate. Hopper and Joyce end up getting married. Nancy, Jonathan, Robin all end up leaving Hawkins and getting jobs elsewhere in other states, other cities, where they all undoubtedly hate their lives and are eating microwave dinners every night. Steve is becoming a teacher, still makes time for his good old pal Dustin. Lucas and Max fall deeper in love. Will also moves to a new city and, is accepted for who he truly is. Even we get a teaser of him sitting in a bar where he meets a new potential partner. And Mike loves sharing stories. No, unfortunately, he doesn't write a book called Stranger Things. That would be too awesome. Every character gets a happy ending, which is exactly what I expected to happen. It felt like the writers took the safest possible option when concluding the show, leaving a nice, neatly tied bow on the very top of it. And listen, man, despite all the glaring plot holes, it's Stranger Things. I think it earned it. I still really got a lot of enjoyment out of it because it still felt like it was a proper conclusion to a show that I've been following for such a long time. I've never really been the most critical person of TV shows. If something's entertaining, I'll watch it. I love watching Family Guy. A 1 second Peter Griffin can have his balls in a microwave and then the next scene he's driving a car. Like, trust me, I don't really care about glaring plot holes as long as it entertains me. And that is exactly what Stranger Things 5 was able to do. Was it perfect? No, far from it. It was not perfect. It was stinky at times, but it was okay. Anyways, that's pretty much all I have to say. This is just my unscripted ranting, so I'm sorry if it was a bit all over the place. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys next week.